sadly due to international failure at the UN, which Dr. Fosk referred to, and the West's softly approach, which is to accommodate the regime, thereby hoping to encourage a change in its appalling behavior. We have a situation now in Iran where human rights defenders and pro-democracy activists are imprisoned, while human rights abusers, like the current president, Raisi, are promoted instead of being held accountable for the atrocities for which they're responsible. But as long as this regime is allowed to act with impunity, nothing will change. I urge our government to lead an international coalition of allies and partners asking the UN Security Council to review the regime's appalling human rights record, to refer those responsible for state repression, for systematic human rights violations, to prosecution. I also believe, as Madam Rajavi said in her remarks, that our governments could take important steps here in the UK to hold the regime to account by looking into prosecution of its officials and leaders under international law and the legal principle of universal jurisdiction. There is also a recommendation that the UN Special Rapporteur on Iran, Javed Rehman, is putting forward in his latest report to the General Assembly. It makes no sense for a government to endorse his mandate and then turn around and ignore its recommendations. I believe the appropriate step is to continue to impose targeted human rights sanctions against the regime. Our government must include the regime's leaders, particularly the Supreme Leader Khomeini and his President Raisi, in the next round of sanctions, to make it clear to the regime that they cannot and will not escape justice and accountability. The best policy we can have for our government is to stand with the Iranian people and their organized opposition, led by you, Madam Rajavi, to ensure that you succeed in establishing a free, democratic and secular republic in Iran.